up from the fuel rail, hose back to the filter. Filter goes around. I've still got to tie that up and neaten it up a little bit to the fuel sump. And of course the fuel sump hose going down to the stock fuel pump. So all of that is plumbed. Happy weekend. Welcome back to my channel. And we are back on the Cobra again as promised today. Doing a lot of work. You'll have to forgive my fan in the background because this weekend in Texas it is expected to be 92 degrees, afternoon thunder showers and humidity of about 647,000%. So it's a little bit muggy in here, as I'm sure you can imagine. But we are back on the Cobra again. If you remember last time when we left off, we had finished the aluminum under the hood and gotten all that in place, mounted the overflow tank for the radiator and the plenum sump for the fuel system. Where are we now? Let's take a look. Okay, I have spent the better part of the morning plumbing the fuel system. These are push lock hoses with 6AN fittings, and you can see I've got it hooked up from the fuel rail, hose back to the filter. Filter goes around. I've still got to tie that up and neaten it up a little bit to the fuel sump, and of course the fuel sump hose going down to the stock fuel pump. So all of that is plumbed. I've also taken the protective coating off of the firewall aluminum, so it's looking nice and shiny now. I've trimmed up with seam tape on my heat shield here and on both sides, so that is good to go. And back here I have run the vent line to the fuel tank, so that is good to go, and it is out of the way exhaust, so that's not going to interfere with anything. So that is done. I have also taken the time today because the wheels are ready to stay on it for good. I pulled the spinners off, put on the anti-seize, hammer them into place with the lead hammer, and put the center caps on all four wheels. So the wheels are on to stay. The only thing I've got left to do there is hook up the safety wire, which I will do at a later date. I have the pliers, but I don't have the safety wire, and since I'm not going to be driving down the street anytime in the near future, that is something that can definitely wait. But those are done as well. So what's next? Okay, back to work on the Cobra today on this weekend. The next step, I've gone through and sanded the rest of the gel coat areas that hadn't been touched yet on the body. I've got the, just for good measure, I have the hood for the 32 setup. I'm about to spray some primer. First set of primer for the Cobra, so I'm going to mix it for a high build. Let's get it done. Well, we have a long way to go on the Bodywork, but it looks better because it's all one color at least. This primer has several benefits. Number one, it's a high build primer, meaning that it will fill in some very superficial blemishes. Number two, it makes stuff like this and this and this easier to spot. So now I can really get to work in earnest on the body work because I can see things. The hood turned out beautifully. I'm going to wet sand it 400, and actually I think I'm good to go with 600 on it. Wet sand it 600, it'll be ready to paint because I did do 400 earlier. The body's still far from perfect, but it does look better. I can see the areas that need work, and I can also see areas that were a little bit better than I thought. Plus, let's face it, when it's all one color instead of all scratched up and black and blotchy and everything else, it kind of looks a little worse than it actually is. So the good news is we're getting there. I think I'm going to let this cure for the rest of the day. It's supposed to have thunder showers again tomorrow, so I'm going to have this be my work for the day. Got some spots right there I can see. And then I'm going to move forward with the next step, which is starting to block sand it with 320 and getting the filler after the rougher spots. The filler, of course, will come first, and then we will move on from there. All in all, a success. I think we're ready to move forward on this now and get to work. Thanks very much for watching this installment. Please hit subscribe. We've got a long way to go on this bodywork. The Ford, the 32 Ford, of course, is getting ready for paint. So the next video I post of it hopefully will be the weekend I go up to do the paint job on it. So please hit subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions, I'd welcome those as well. Hit the like button and share if you could too. See you next time. And now we're filming. I find it ironic that the water dog is the one that doesn't want to get in the pool.